this is what's going to come in your kit. The only thing you do need is just some glue. For this example, I'm using this tacky glue. It's an option, or if you have just basic Elmer's glue at home or glue stick, this should just be perfect. Okay, now I'm just going to go over a little piece. So there are two clamshell pieces. So this is the biggest one, and this is the smaller one. So those should be in your kit. Now there should be two stem pieces, which are these. These are pretty small, so keep a lookout for those. Two leaf pieces. Got these two. Once again, I'm using the bad one. This one has a little rip on it, so yours should have a little curly Q. And then there should be 8 total of these kind of pieces. Now the pattern will vary, but you should have 4 of these for the ends, 4 of these as the second piece on the inside, and then just these 2 for the middle. Okay, so patterns will vary. I'm going to try to keep it generally how the picture looks like, and I'll show you how this picture is going to look like. So at the end of it, it should look like this. I will also hand you one of these papers to take home with you. Just if you're someone that likes to read and work, there's an option for this too. So it should look something like this once it's all done, and the idea is you could put some candy or something cute inside. Oh, I forgot one more thing, and then a piece of string. In the paper they use like a green twine. I'm just using embroidery string, so that's going to be your last piece that's going to go with it. So you want to first look for the perforated edges of these pieces of paper, and you're going to fold them in. So I'm going to just fold in all these guys. Going to fold them all up. This one I'm just folding it inside. Okay, so this is the smaller clamshell piece. I'm going to set up to the side here and work on the big one. Now the big one's going to have a little slot in the top. This is for the stem, so I would just give it a little push just to loosen it. Okay, so now that we have them folded up, we're going to line the box pieces so that the larger piece is on the left and has a tab on the lower left, and then the smaller piece is going to be on the right. So it's going to glue essentially like this. So we're going to add glue to these tabs first on each individual tab. So I'm going to open up my glue and get started on that. In the meantime, we're going to work on the smaller box, so I'm pulling this one out now. And same thing, we're going to do all these little tabs first before we move on to the bigger one. We're going to glue the smaller piece. It's actually going to be glued on the inside of this. So I'm going to turn it on its side, and I'm going to take this bottom piece and just make sure that I'm going to try to line. There's a perforated edge right in here. I'm going to make sure those two are lined up as best as I can. It looks like it's like perfectly cut, so I think they're fine. So I'm going to take some glue and put it along this entire flap for the smaller piece. I'm going to try to avoid putting glue over the perforated edge though, because I don't want it to obviously stick together and then you can't bend it. So also making sure that this corners are not, like the flaps aren't in so far that the corners are not working together. So with that being the biggest piece to get in, everything else should be pretty easy to glue. So as you see, I'm just flipping over and you can see the overall shape it's starting to take form. So I'm going to work on doing So I'm going to work on putting the glue all along the inside of this and just pressing the flaps down. So I'm not going to do any, just going to do one line of glue, nothing too much. I'm going to use the table to press it down. I'm pushing my fingers against it at the bottom of the table, or the top of the table, the bottom of the piece. Obviously you can see all of the paper that's overlapping on this edge, but this side is completely all folded. Okay, so I hope that helps in terms of explaining it. And so now we're going to work on adding the decorational pieces of this. So I'm going to grab the 2 leaf pieces and the 2 stem pieces. Well, what I want you to do is to flip one of them to the side, so they're like mirroring images of each other. We're going to add a design piece on this side and add a design piece on this side. So I'm just going to glue, I'm adding glue to one of the pieces. And at this point the sides don't matter because you can always switch sides. So I realized when I flipped it over, I actually have it set for this side. So I'm going to make sure that when I glue it, you can see that the stem is creating like a little highlight effect over the overall leaf piece. And then this end is what's going to end up being going into the card. Okay. So we're going to do it this side. So knowing that the glue's on this side, I want to put glue on the opposite side to make sure that this goes like that. Okay. Okay, now these 2 are done. I'm going to set them off for a side now. We're going to glue them together in just a minute, but I'm going to set these off to dry. Before I start gluing, I want to make sure that these pieces are sitting well on this. So I know this works out well. I got the top design done. So I'm just going to take up each piece and I'm going to add glue at on the bottom of it. These are double-sided. Some of them might actually work if you flip them over, but I try to keep the ones with the pattern on the one side. So if you see something like this, just try and flip it over. So I have this. So you just want to make sure that the bottom edge and that this little loop just lines up with the side, and then the pointed tip is going to line up to kind of go like very almost middle of the bottom flap. Alright, so this is the pumpkin portion. Now I just gotta glue the leaves. Now honestly, if you just want to glue just the stem, you can. This kind of looks pretty neat. I don't know if you can tell, like a little 3D effect going on. I think it looks pretty neat, so I won't glue that. Now, final step, we're going to flip this. Like I said, there's a little slot right here. I don't know if you can see it. And we're going to put the pumpkin stem in the slot. A little ribbon right here. Just going to tie the ribbon around the stem. I'm just going to do a basic like shoestring tie, nothing fancy. Okay, so this is what the box looks like. I guess your card box. This is what your card box looks like. So I should be able to put the slot in here, but you can put stuff in there. So, and you can actually open up more. So you feel free to bend it back with the perforated edges. So let's say if I want to put like my AirPods in here. I can put my AirPods in here and just close it like that. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this pumpkin box take and make. If you have any questions, please email me. Once again, you're going to be sent home with all the pieces. If something happens to be amiss, please contact me right away and I'll give you the piece. And if you would please send me like your final products through my by my email. Just take a little quick pic and send it to me. I'm always curious to see how you're all so creative. You come up with different designs or you come up with different ideas. So please send me an example of your pumpkin box and it may be featured on our library social media pages. Thank you.